we were supposed to be, I think it was called spotting from a roof. So the chief petty officer came by and said, my name was Kitcher then. Kitcher, where's your helmet? So I said, on my head. He said, it's not. I was laying on it instead of having a...
No way.
Ever silly. Well, I survived anyway.
Yeah.
Born in Wick, Hampshire, England on the 1st of April 1924, Joice Foley, at the age of 97, shared her experiences in the war, meeting her Canadian husband, and her journey coming to Canada.
Well, when I was 18, or when anyone in Britain was 18, they had to either go in a factory or join the forces. Well, the factory didn't appeal to me, so I joined the Navy. And we were called Wrens, so I joined in 42, I think. Yeah, 42. And I did 2 years. And then I was pregnant because I got married in between.
Oh, really?
Just incidentally, I got married. Yeah, I had a very good war, really. My father was in D-Day. Yeah, and my husband was a Canadian soldier. And I met him, 42, I guess I met him. Yeah, as soon as I joined the Navy, I met him. He was sitting on a step outside a pub. My girlfriend and I were walking up the street. And we said, hello, soldier. So he said, no girls, you're going to the dance tonight. Yeah. Okay, see you there. That was it. And here's his ring. He died at 99, 3 years ago. Yeah, I always said I had a good war. I was married to a wonderful man. Yeah, we had fun. We had our troubles, but nothing serious. That's 1939, yes, and it was a very hot summer. Yeah, and I was just about finishing high school. I spent that summer looking after my wretched brother.
Was he much younger than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he still calls me every day from New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Now, yes.
Wow.
He's the youngest and I'm the eldest. Then I had a brother, then I had a sister, and then my mother had twins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty good sized family, but
Yeah.
we had a good mother and a good father. Well, I spent the war actually on the coast in London and on the Isle of Wight. I was mostly in the mail office, like post office.
Okay.
Completing her basic training at the age of 18 in London, there were some things about basic training that Joice did not enjoy one bit.
Getting up in the morning and doing exercise. I'm not an exercise person. I'm still not. It was terrible. Get up in the cold and go outside, put your arms up and your legs. That was the worst part of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but my job in the mail office was interesting. And yeah, only one time I was very, very disobedient. I met a young woman from my town, and I just walked by and said hi like that. Well, she was an officer, so I was supposed to salute. I didn't. So they put me on charge. And I peeled potatoes for 3 weeks. It's not funny. They were old potatoes, and they had eyes in them. You had to I don't like potato. And here, every meal, they give you a blob of potato. That's the only the only bad thing I did. Or at least that they found out about. Yeah. Started off in Gosport, not this one, but in England. And then I was in Vectis in Portsmouth. Then I went to London to take a course. And then I came back to the Isle of Wight, which is where I ended up. Yeah. I started off as my family didn't drink. And I started off in the officers' mess serving drinks. I didn't know a beer from a beer. Didn't take me long to learn though. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was also sad because frequently, like from one night to the next night, they'd go out and do exercises. They wouldn't come back. That was sad. But when you're young, I think you're resilient. And it didn't fizz on us the same way it would today. People were dying all over the place. I mean, doodlebugs and bombs, all kind. I remember once a doodlebug came over. We were supposed to be, I think it was called spotting from a roof. So the chief petty officer came by and said, my name was Kitcher then. Kitcher, where's your helmet? So I said, on my head. He said, it's not. I was laying on it instead of...
No way.
Ever silly. I mean, it's so stupid. Panic button. One thing I learned to do was smoke Sobrani cigarettes.
Oh, did you? Really?
Black coffee and Sobrani. Well, they're a Russian cigarette, and they're very strong, like a cigar.
Oh, really? Okay.
One thing we had to watch at the end of the war was the concentration camps. We had to watch that. That was the one thing I hated.
Pictorial evidence of the almost unprecedented crimes perpetrated by the Nazis at the Buchenwald concentration camp. The story in written form is contained in the official report of the Prisoner of War and Displaced Persons Division of the United States Group Control Council.
Dreadful. It was poor people. Skeletons. Striped pajamas. No food. Brutality. Terrible. Terrible. I try not to remember that. It was awful.
Yeah.
People doing that to people. Couldn't imagine. Oh, I enjoyed my military life. I always tell people I had a good war.
Yeah.
And I really did. My dad came home, I came home, and my husband came home. What else can you ask for? And I had a good life in Canada. I love Canada. My son was a royalist. Always wanted to go back to Britain, but unfortunately didn't make it. But I didn't go back to Britain for 12 years. It took me 12 years to save $299 to buy the ticket. When I got there, the first thing I wanted to do was come back here. So human nature's so stupid. In Montreal, in the suburb of Rosemont, where there were Russians, Ukrainians, Italian, French, whatever, Polish, the whole bit. I loved it.
Nice.
But I was here for 3 weeks, and my poor husband had to go to St. Anne's Hospital to have his tonsils out.
Really? Oh, God.
And our landlord had a habit of getting drunk, so.
Just a little bit of a mess.
And he was in Ukraine, and he made beet soup. One lunchtime, he and I were having lunch, and my son was sitting in his high chair, and poor Strail, he was so drunk he fell forward into his beet soup.
Just red everywhere. Just a mess.
Oh, but he was a kind man. But he did get drunk frequently.
On the 6th of June, 1944, Fred and Joyce were to be married, but the world had different plans that day.
My father couldn't come because he was in D-Day.
He was fortunate enough to survive the Normandy landings and return home to England after the war concluded.
When the war ended,
Yeah.
when I was hugely pregnant, so I was very happy it was over. Well, when Peter and I got on the Queen Mary to come to Canada, first thing we saw was a chicken. Hadn't seen a chicken. And white bread. We didn't have white bread. Now I hate white bread, but...
You had it so much?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I traveled with 5,000 women and children. So I'm not particularly fond of women and children. Came on the Queen Mary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And 5,000 women and children.
It's quite loud. Babies everywhere.
Oh, Peter was a year old.
Yeah.
When we got to Halifax, he was sick. And that train journey from Halifax, we stopped in Levy, Quebec first. Let all the officers' wives off. Then we were sent on to Bonaventure. And I was one of the last ones off because I couldn't hear what they were saying. Fred was outside fuming. The one thing my father always told about was he was in Belgium a lot of the time. And his group of men, he drove what they call a lorry, which is a big truck. That's what he did over there. And they'd all been to the local restaurant for dinner. And my father said he suddenly felt very odd in his stomach. And he looked around. No cat. They'd been given the cat for dinner.
No.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Because they just didn't have a lot of food, right? Oh my goodness.
He was a mechanic, a real whiz. He took a clock apart once, put it back together again. We always had convertible cars. He knew how to fix them. Good man. I was lucky. Yeah.
I was gonna say, is that him there?
That's in Maplewood, which is the local long-term care home. He was there for 3 years before he died. Well, it was a good place for him. He thought he was in the army again.
Oh, did he?
Oh yes, and he had one caretaker. He'd say, "Sir." Poor Fred. But war's terrible. Nasty. I was in London when we had a big raid. Those shelters, oh, awful. but they just save your life. You met all kinds of funny people, almost as funny as these people. I'm not supposed to say that. Be truthful. Try to be happy. And be kind. People are not kind sometimes.
I was going to say, is there anything else you want to share, or
Well, not really.
any other experience? I think we covered a lot.
I think we have, and I've enjoyed meeting you. Thank you.
I really enjoyed meeting you as well. It was a pleasure.
Good.
So what I want to do is I want to get a photo with you as well, if that's okay.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you break the camera.
Well, it'll be okay. Don't you worry. Okay.
Joice Foley, 1st of April 1924, 97,
You're 97.
almost 98.
Almost not. This April you'll be 98. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Just after the interview concluded, Joice wanted to show me a few of Fred's war medals. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Remembering Canada's Veterans. I'm going to be posting these videos once a month, so subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested in this type of content, and consider donating to my Patreon. Basically, the Patreon is to help fund me travel to see these amazing people, and there's bonus clips, I guess updates on the page there. So the link is in the description. Feel free to donate. If not, like I said, share the video with all your friends and people that might be interested in watching these type of videos. So thank you so much again, and have a good one.